when it comes to speaking in tongues, firstly I would say speaking in tongues is scriptural, as the Bible tells us that they that believe, that these signs shall follow them that believe. They shall speak in other tongues. We saw what happened in Pentecost. Now the controversies surrounding speaking in tongues is shaped into different dimensions and patterns, in the sense that some controversy is like, don't even speak in tongues at all, that it is demonic. Some controversies refer to the fact that there is a way to speak in tongues. Some controversies will say you must speak a language even though you don't understand that language. Now, I will now go deeper into what speaking in tongues is really about. Firstly, you need to understand that speaking in tongues is the language of the Spirit. It is not a carnal language. You see, words is what coordinates and controls life. Everything we are, even our flesh, is a word. Everything is controlled by words. Every word is a portal to a dimension of wisdom. So now, speaking in tongues is the language of your spirit. Now, and you will understand this as I'm going in this conversation. Now, we need to understand that when it comes to speaking in tongues, speaking in tongues is like a process. Now, for example, when I say it is the language of the Spirit, that means it helps the expression of the presence. Speaking in tongues actually energizes the presence of God in you, and it brings it to activity. It sort of like sanctifies you of every demonic platform and operation existent in you. So it separates you from, it sanctifies, it separates you from demonic mindsets, demonic capacities, and it has a way of enhancing the presence of God, or expressing the presence of God in you to enhance the workings of God. For example, for someone who wants to do something for God, spending time speaking in tongues will help you to express better what you are doing. For example, you want to go to preach, you want the power of God to be expressed. The power of God is already in you. When you speak in tongues, you spend time prayer through tongues, you tarry in the presence of God. You will see that those things will flow. That spirit capacity, you will flow better, because you would have been severed of every thing that does not align to the will of God. So the spirit will be able to flow through effectively. You see, speaking in tongues is like when you have a car. Now, the spirit is like the engine, and the soul, your soul is the cavity within the car, the compartment within the car. So from that compartment, it's more like you kick the car into start, and when you start the car, the spirit becomes active. At times you can say speaking in tongues is more mechanical than just kicking it. Maybe it's like when you draw a generator, you draw it so that it can roll into function. But the moment you are able to engage the spirit into function, what the spirit does is the spirit charges up, and as the spirit charges up, the energy of that spirit is translated back into that cavity, into that compartment, through which you are able to control the functioning of the car. Then you can move the car, you can function different things in the car, because the spirit has recovered energy. Do you see? So speaking in tongues is like you are making a mechanical activity, and that mechanical activity is charging up your soul. So one thing that is critical to speaking in tongues is your thoughts is directed towards God. You are energizing your thoughts towards God. That's what you are doing when you are speaking in tongues. So there's a difference when you are just saying Shabbat Shabbat and your thought is not there. But it is about your thoughts. What you are doing with your mouth is like you are just trying to bring energy to your thoughts so that you can concentrate it in the direction of God, so that you can draw the presence, you can activate your spirit into the energy of the presence. And what your spirit does is your spirit comes alive, and anything in your soul and starts reverting the energy that it already carries into your soul. Then it starts sanctifying your soul, and that gives your spirit the grace to be expressed better in your body. So you start with the body, but it becomes a cycle that recovers energy back to your body. That is invariably what you do when you speak in tongues. So the different dimensions of speaking in tongues, either you are speaking a clear language and all those, that comes with gifting. But an average believer should engage in this mechanical process frequently, so that they can have a quick administration of the power of the Spirit. Now let me talk about my own personal evolution and experience with speaking in tongues. For example, growing up, I've been in church where they would say you need to speak in tongues, and they will pray for you as children, even as children. And I will see people speaking in tongues instantly. I usually believe that, probably something has to happen to me to be able to speak in tongues. So most of the time when they do that, I just find it difficult. And growing up, becoming more prayerful and all that, at times I'll be moved to speak in tongues, but even if I try for seconds, I'll just stop, because usually I'll feel like, is God really into this? Hope I'm not just speaking nonsense. So I won't want to go further. So I did that. That was happening in my life while I was being prayerful. But in 2019, while sleeping, I just woke into the subconscious state in the morning. I was about to wake up. So before being fully awake, there is a state, the subconscious state. We still talk more about all these things. In that state, that's where you pick the things of the spirit. So I just heard a voice screaming from a very far place, and screaming to me and saying, learn to pray in tongues, learn to pray in tongues, learn to pray in tongues. That was said 3 times. Then I woke fully up, and I was like, what's this? Then that actually led me to start, energizing, gaining the confidence to speak in tongues. Then at times I would think maybe I've spoken in tongues for 10 minutes. Then you just check the time, you see you've not even done this a full minute. You are just seconds into it, and it was a struggle. But one day I was moved energetically to speak in tongues differently than I used to. A part of me felt I might be doing it for 15 minutes, but even if it was 5 minutes, I was doing that, and I drifted into a vision. And what I saw demonic spirits being repelled by an energy of light being expressed from me. That's what happens when you speak in tongues. Every mindset of negativity, every demonic influences in you, they are repelled, they are pushed out of you, because you are being sanctified, and that will give room to the better expression, the expression of the spirit. So every hindrance is being taken away, the fears, the anxieties, the worries, everything is being taken away, so that you can be able to have a flow of the spirit. So it helps you to energize love in you, it sanctifies you. So seeing that, the next thing that was going to happen was I just suddenly started feeling like I was levitating out of the level where those demonic spirits can operate. Now, this is what speaking in tongues does to you. I think beyond that, there was then a time when I was in a revelation, and I was being told to actually go on a kind of fast. These are the things that actually bring you into the power of the spirit, and we call it dry fast. So for 3 days. Then I was shown how to energize and get the best of that dry fast. So I saw a man sit down at the corner, and the man started speaking in tongues in an unusual, a very powerful syllabic, all these syllabic, monosyllabic ways. And I was made to understand that as Apostle Paul, meaning Apostle Paul is a man who tarried in the place of prayer, speaking in tongues for long hours. So I was shown that, validating the need for the character of speaking in tongues. I noticed that the more time I spend speaking in tongues, the more I see power being expressed in the spirit. I see things being overcome in the spirit, and I realize the more energy of the spirit, the more energized in the spirit I become. For example, I'll just say this unusual testimony. There were seasons when I had to deal with a lot of attacks and all that. So while growing in the spirit, I realized there was a day I just became conscious in the spirit. Now, not fully conscious carnally. When you talk of the subconscious state, you can be aware, you're aware of your physical existence and your spirit. And I was able to see that my spirit was repelling an attack. There was a demonic attack. So my spirit was fighting against it. How was my spirit fighting against it? By speaking in tongues. So my spirit kept speaking tongues. So I was conscious, and I was seeing this scenario. Actually, God was also taking me through some teachings. So as I was seeing this scenario, that shows something. I was aware of my flesh. My flesh was numb. It could do nothing. But my spirit was speaking in tongues, and the third part of me was my consciousness, which is my soul. Then suddenly in my soul I thought to call on the name of Jesus. So I just said, in the name of Jesus. As I said that, before I even completed the name, that demonic spirit, I just felt as if it tore off me, which shows that the platform or the ground of battle was my body. It is the demon was trying to access my soul. That's how they do. They want to access your soul so they can plant, so they can steal, so they can operate their own intentions and all that in your soul. So, but my spirit, because I had become one with my spirit, which is I have been restored to Eden, my spirit, though at that time was not in its highest level of power, started fighting back to repel the capacity of that demon to operate in me. That's why at times you experience sleep paralysis. It's a demonic operation. So my spirit was repelling that possibility, because I'm now in existence with my spirit. I'm one with my spirit. And it was doing that by speaking in tongues. Maybe I'll still talk at some other times about the phases of growth in the spirit. And there is a level where your spirit won't have to be speaking in tongues. There's a level where your spirit would actually, because now you carry fire. So there are different phases, but maybe I'll talk about that next.